Hi, I've been asked by one or two people just to give them a quick talk through about what papers I use, mostly for watercolour and Brusho. I came to Brusho through starting with watercolours first of all, so I tended to begin by using the papers I already had that I used for watercolour, and the one that I use the most for my watercolours is this Saunders Waterford, and it's quite a real heavy paper, that one, and I use it a lot with my watercolours because I use an awful lot of water. I work very wet in wet and use my spray a lot as well, so it needs to be able to absorb plenty of water. So I first started using Brushos on that one, and with some nice effects. But more recently I've been using these two. This Archer's one is a £140 pad, and it's gummed all the way around, but it has a little slit there you can get your knife in and take the paper off once you've completed your picture. This was just a little play I was having earlier, but it's a lovely smooth one, so the pigments move out really quickly and flow really well on that. So you don't need a lot of water and you don't need a lot of pigment because they will move around the paper quite quickly. I was just playing with a bit of ink and gesso and things in this one to see how they work with the Brusho. Some of the inks actually started to crack, so it perhaps won't be a technique I'll use again because I don't want it cracking. But yeah, so that Archer's, and if you look out for the pink colour, that's the hot pressed satin one, and like I say, it moves lovely on that. So this one was an anniversary edition, and I bought it probably about 6 months ago, and I liked it so much I've just ordered some more. Bought another couple of blocks of this. So it's a £200 one, slightly heavier than the Archers, but again it's gummed all the way around. And the reason I really like this, apart from the fact that it's so heavy and well gummed, so it's not moving anywhere, you don't need to bother about you know, stretching it before you start or anything like that. It's a brilliant white. It's such a great white. Slightly rougher than the satin of the Archers, a bit more texture there, but it doesn't seem to sink in too much and allow your colours to go dull. So it's a really good one, that, and I'll just show you this. This is a work that I recently had framed from that one. So you can see here I've used a lot more water and it's sunk into the paper, but where I've left it a little bit drier, the pigments have stayed nicely on top as well, so you can get a variety of effects with that one type of paper and a nice brilliant white colour to it. But I moved on from the watercolour papers and gave Brusho a try on just some ordinary cartridge papers, and it works quite well as long as you tape them down to your board to make sure that they're not going to warp too much. Perhaps wet the back of the paper before you tape it down. This one's a mixed media cartridge paper, 160 gram, 25 sheets in that, and that's a really nice, I mean, it says suitable for pencil, ink and wet media, and I was very surprised how much water it would take for a cartridge paper. It really will, and it's good fun because again, with it being so smooth, the colours just fly out. You might have seen actually this was one I was playing with yesterday, and that was just one colour of the Brusho around a fern leaf that I used this one I was just talking about, the mixed media one. And then the one I did yesterday that you saw, perhaps you might have seen me doing this little demonstration yesterday, that was just with 3 colours and some ferns, and that was using another cartridge paper, but this time a coloured one, and there's about 5 different colours in that pack, I think, a variety of colours, and that was again just a nice 135 gram that time. But all of these are acid free, which means they're going to be a little bit more archival. If you want your paintings to last with the Brusho, I would suggest doing what I do, which is I always give them a spray of hairspray, 2 or 3 layers. It helps bring the colours out, again, if they've gone a little dull, but it also helps fasten the pigments in place because, as you know, they can be a little bit loose and move around again after you've finished with your work. And in cases of the one I just showed you before, I do also have them framed behind glass once they've had that hairspray on them. And then this one, you might also have seen, a little sunset I did the other day. This is just an SAA practice watercolour paper, so not a very heavy one. Not sure what that was. Not a very heavy paper, but you know, it works well with the Brusho. Again, so it needs fastening down nicely and securely with the masking tape to avoid it warping. But you can see the difference with the cartridge paper than you can with this one, because it sinks in a lot more, and perhaps in some of these areas I've overused the water. Here are some nice effects where I've not put just as much water on and it's spread out nicely, but you can see where it sort of sinks into the paper more than it sort of sits on the top of the paper with these ones. Okay, so if you have any questions regarding paper, or indeed anything else regarding Brusho works, if you just pop them in the comments section below, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be great too, and then you'll see a few more of my tutorials. Okay, thank you.